Owen! Dude, car warranty!
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dudecast. This is episode 18. And my god. You know what's crazy? I've been doing this podcast for like 2 years now. I started it back in 2020. It's 2022 now. I don't know. I made that connection before I started recording. And yeah, that's pretty fucking insane that this is by far like the longest podcast I think I've done. Like time, man, it doesn't even feel like 2 years, man. It feels like just yesterday. I just uploaded the first episode. Man, you know, it's funny that we talk about time because that kind of leads into today's topic actually, which is it's about childhood. You know, so we're going back like way back in time. You know, I talk about my childhood like I'm like 40 years old. No, I'm only 20 years old. It's crazy. Like I started this channel when I was like 13 years old, right? I started the channel when I was around 13 years old. Just started 8th grade, I want to say. And now here I am, 2 years out of high school, 20 years old, still going. Like that's nuts, bro. Like it's crazy. Like so much has happened too within that 2 year span too. It's insane. But yeah, childhood. I actually had a great childhood. Yeah, I had a great childhood. Like I give younger me so much shit for being cringeworthy and just like hard to watch, which I was. I mean, you could argue, you could argue that I still am. I mean, yeah, it's oh, who am I kidding? Yes, I am. I don't know why I said you could argue. I still am. But yeah. But in terms of like my childhood was actually pretty fucking fantastic, actually. You see, I was born in 2002. And let me tell you something real quick. Okay? Let me tell you something about the mid 2000s. The mid 2000s were a different time entirely. I mean, I don't remember half of it, but I know it was a different time. Like cartoons back then were so good. Movies were hit or miss. Like I remember my parents, they wrote in my what the fuck is it called? They wrote in my baby book. Like they gave them a book when I was born to write stuff down, like a memorial kind of thing, you know, like a time capsule sort of. But so what they wrote down was that one of the things that they wrote down was like what was the hit movie at the time, around the time I was born. The most popular movies at that time were, because keep in mind, like I mentioned, I was born in 2002, right? So my dad wrote down that at the time, the hit movies around 2002-ish were Gladiator and Pearl Harbor. I think that that dates me quite a bit, I'd say. I mean, God, it's crazy to think that. I mean, it's not super crazy to think, but like 2002, that was 20 years ago. That's crazy. Like to the people who were born before 2002, or just before the 2000s in general, I guess. I mean, they're definitely older than 20. But yeah, I mean, like think back to my childhood for a second. Like I'm trying to think of what shows were on, because I didn't really gain conscious to my life till like till I was about like 8 or something. Um, I know you gain consciousness like way before that, but like I don't know. I don't have any like actual memories of when I was a toddler and stuff like that. I only remember like specific things. But like Jesus Christ. One of the things that I do remember was SpongeBob. I remember I grew up on SpongeBob quite a bit. I remember I used to fucking love SpongeBob, dude. That was my show. Sponge SpongeBob was my show back then. Um, and I'm talking like SpongeBob when it was in its prime, you know, like when it was uh such a good show. I mean, it's always been dumb. It's a stupid cartoon, yeah, okay. But like the humor, granted the humor's always been kind of dumb too, but like I'll sit down like last year, I want to say. Last year I sat down and I watched a fairly new, like a recently new episode of SpongeBob, right? And I just remember sitting there and watching it and thinking, this is like so dumb now. Like the humor on SpongeBob now is so bad. Like it's so like the new SpongeBob in general is just not good. Um like it's dumb now. Like it's like I know the original SpongeBob was dumb, but it was dumb in like a funny way. Like it was dumb in a funny kind of way. This is just dumb in like a stupid way. This is like, oh kids that are watching, you know, like oh kids that are watching. We know you have the attention span of a fucking horsefly. So here's something really weird happening every 5 seconds. Like it's so bizarre now, and that's like bad. It's bad. Like I remember I brought that conversation, like I brought that topic up to my girlfriend one day, right? And I was like, yeah, like I remember when SpongeBob used to be so good. It was so good when I was little. And she's like she's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not? And she's like, it's dumb, it will melt your brain, it melts your brain. And I'm like, relationship over, that's it. Just like, get out. Like, do not talk trash about my boy SpongeBob like that, unless if it's the new one. And even then I was like, oh, you mean the new one, right? And she's like, no, just in general. And I was like, oh my god, you can't be serious. I'm joking. I'm obviously I'm kidding. I'm joking. But that actually did happen though. Like, yeah. I don't know. I thought that was funny. But anyway, so gaming was also a big part of my childhood. Um I grew up with the OG, okay, maybe not like the original OG, but like Lego Star Wars, the complete saga on the Nintendo Wii. Oh my god, bro. That was such a fun game. Such a fun game, bro. And I just played it with my girlfriend recently on like the original Xbox, and I'm like, this is, it's a little dated, but it's just as fun as I remember it being, you know? Like um yeah, like my favorite, like I grew up with, you know, that game. I grew up with Super Mario Kart Wii. I grew up with both Super Mario Galaxy games, which are just fantastic. Can I talk about that for a second? Super Mario Galaxy. Hot take here for a second. Here's a little bit of a hot take, a little bit of a spicy one for you. But Super Mario Galaxy is the best Mario game. Like, say what you will about the original Marios, those are all-time classics for a reason. Okay, those are all-time classics. Super Mario Galaxy, my dogs are going absolutely nuts, by the way. Super Mario Galaxy And it's not just because of the nostalgia, right? It's not just because of the nostalgia. It's genuinely a really fun game. The soundtrack is fucking amazing. And it's so good. Like, I love the spin attack thing. It's just, oh man. Like, talking about it now makes me want to play it now. Like, I want to play it right now. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is just as good, but it's not as good, if that makes sense. It's not as good as the first one, but it's definitely still good. You know, like, it's a very good sequel. It's not as good as the original, but it's still pretty damn good. But yeah, like, there was SmackDown versus Raw 2011, which, fun fact, that was my for anyone that is interested in me with wrestling and all that, or if anyone's just into wrestling in general, that was my first I guess you could say, like, a real introduction to wrestling, I guess, that, or like more like that was my first wrestling game that I properly played. And yeah, like, I just remember playing that and I'm like, oh, this looks like fun. I also remember watching my dad play one of the SmackDown games on the old PlayStation 2. I think wow, God, which one was it? Was it Shut Your Mouth? I think it was. It might have been. Or no, it was just Bring It. It was just Bring It. And I remember watching my dad playing that and being like, what is this? This looks cool. I wanted to play it too, but I didn't know how to play it. But I wanted to, though. Yeah, like, it's so weird, man. Like, you look at TV, I don't know if it's because I'm older now or what, but I don't know if it's because I'm older or if it's because kids are getting stupider, but you look at TV shows today, or, like, yeah, let's just go, like, kids cartoons, for example. Let's go with that. You look at kids cartoons today, and a lot of them are not very good. A lot of them are kind of stupid. Like, I mean, you could argue that, like, all kids cartoons are stupid, but, like, I watched cartoons on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, right? Those were my two go-to things on TV, right? So I would watch things like SpongeBob. I didn't watch it, but the original Teen Titans. I watched some of the original Teen Titans, but it kind of scared me a little bit. So I never really got to watching it. I watched some of it, but, like, not every episode. Avatar: The Last Airbender was on TV, which I just binged that last year on Netflix, and that is such a good fucking show, bro. So good. Like, now you got shit like Cocomelon and Cosmic Kid, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, a lot of, like, I remember when kids cartoons used to be, like, smart. Like, they weren't afraid to be like, okay, you know what? Kids are, granted, they're not very smart, but they're smart enough to understand what's going on. Hello, Home Depot Box 69. What are you doing? a rare J. Oh my God, it keeps going. A rare, Jesus Christ. Is there anything else? Oh man, you're gonna have to watch. You're gonna have to watch the actual video rather than actually listen to it to see that. Cause, that was a rare Jaden appearance on a podcast, and it was involuntary. Oh man. Ugh. But no, like, I remember when kids cartoons used to be like, kids, they're not very smart, but they're smart enough to understand what's going on here. Like, I remember watching Avatar on Netflix and thinking, like, huh, there's a lot of, like, mature stuff in here that I'm sure, like, today's kids would, like, not, I don't think, they would understand, but they, like, I don't know, they just wouldn't understand as much, I guess, because, or who knows, maybe they would, because kids today now, have literally everything at the palm of their hands. Like kids today are getting phones at like 10 years old. And I remember when it kind of, Jesus Christ, Jaden. I remember when Connor and I were kids. We actually, the first time we ever got a phone, we actually shared a phone, and I remember we used that phone to record YouTube videos with. So like, if you scroll all the way back down to 2015, like 2015, 2016, a lot of videos. In fact, I think all the videos from that era, if they weren't slideshows, they came from that phone. I remember that. But we got phones when we shared a phone when I was like 12. Like I was 12, Connor was, let's see, I'm 2 years older, so he would have been 10, maybe 10, 9, somewhere within that range. Uh, yeah, no, he would have been 10, I think. Oh God, I hope that's right. um, yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because 10 plus 2, that's 12. So yeah, Jesus. But yeah, when Connor was 10, and I was like 12. No, I had to have been at least 13. I think, yeah, I didn't get, yeah, that sounds more accurate. I think we got that phone when I was 13. Connor was 11 at the time, and we shared it. We didn't get our own phones until, I want to say, when I was 15 and Connor was 13. That sounds about right. I'd say. Because, yeah, like, because when we were kids, we actually didn't have electronics. I mean, we played video games, but like we didn't have phones. No, we had action figures. We had, WWE wrestlers. We had Power Rangers, Transformers, Bionicles. Who remembers Bionicles? Like we had yeah, like Hero Factory. We had Hero Factory. Does anyone fucking remember Hero Factory? We had that. I know we did. Um yeah, like we just had a bunch of action figures and we would always play with them. And it was so fun. Like yeah, I played with the wrestlers for a very long time. Um but yeah, that's what we did when we were kids. Nowadays kids have like phones, PCs, some of them are smoking when they're in fucking like middle school. Like I don't know what's going on with kids today, man. Like I don't know. I remember what life was like before the PlayStation 4. I remember what it was like. It was very boring, but it was also quite fun. Oh man. Yeah, like I don't know. My childhood was it was a lot of fun. Plus, had a good family life. Um had a good couple of parents, mom and dad, raised us well. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's really hard to talk about because, I'm still somewhat kind of a kid. I'm still very, very young. Um and it's crazy because, uh I'm 20 years old now. Connor's 17, but he's going to be 18. He just graduated high school. I give up at this point. But yeah, I'm 20 years old. Connor just graduated high school, and Jaden's out of high school. It's his birthday today, actually. Which funny. This is going up on his birthday, and he shows up on the podcast. I don't know. I find that kind of funny. But yeah, like I remember, like it's crazy, man. Like all the cousins that I've grown up with that are around my age, they're all out of high school now. It's crazy. It makes me feel old, man. I feel like I'm getting old. I mean, I am, but at the same time, I'm the youngest I've ever been. I mean, you could argue Zero's like the youngest you've ever been. I don't know. I got into an argument with Caleb over that one time. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. I don't know. Uh, hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I had an awesome childhood growing up. I had so many nostalgic things. Uh, TV was great. Games were great. Games are still great even now. Um, had the Wii, had the PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, all that. Um, yeah. Great childhood. Great childhood. Um, so yeah, that's all I got for today. Hopefully thank you guys for listening. And as always, I'll see you guys later in the next one. Goodbye.